how about that defense today? How about the way they played? How about Witherspoon, man?
That Russell Wilson, prior to be trading, and demanded that both Pete Carroll and the general manager, John Schneider, be fired.
And so I thought Pete was too tough on Russ, should have let Russ cook, and the truth is, Russ simmering was probably better than Russ cooking.
The Seattle Seahawks are a real team, a legitimate team. And if you want to keep being a silly willy and not believing in the type of contender that the Seattle Seahawks are, I can't help you. I truly cannot help you. If you did not see what they displayed on Monday Night Football, wreaking legitimate havoc over the New York Giants, I cannot save you. The Seattle Seahawks are A, back, B, their defense is leading the charge, and C, Pete Carroll, whether you want to believe it or not, has still solidified himself as a top coach in the National Football League. The New York Giants, in my personal opinion, might hate Daniel Jones. Did you see what that offensive line was doing to him? 11 sacks for the Seattle Seahawks defense. That is disgustingly sexy. I love it if I'm a Seahawks fan. If you're a Seahawks fan, let me know in the comments. How happy were you to see your defense get to the quarterback 11 times? That's elite. We haven't seen that since those championship seasons, those Super Bowl winning seasons, that legion of boom, dare I say. And look, these weren't lazy sacks. These sacks were earned. Daniel Jones only completed 27 of 34 of his passes, but for only 203 yards, 0 touchdowns, and tossing 2 interceptions, one of which was returned by my #1 player on my NFL draft big board, Devon Witherspoon. It's tough to defend that performance. Let's be honest, it's not entirely Daniel Jones' fault, but look, I promise you, it is the fault of the Seattle Seahawks on how poorly the Giants performed. The Seahawks dominated so bad, I still can't tell if the Giants just suck this bad. The Seahawks walk away as winners, but it was a muddy victory offensively. Geno Smith, a solid 13 of 20 with the touchdown. However, Jamal Adams exiting early with a concussion evaluation, even with Pete Carroll calling it a little glitch and projecting his return post-bye against the Bengals, it's a ripple. Health is capital in the NFL, and you don't want your assets even slightly bruised as you head deeper into the season. These things is what usually halt the Seahawks from going forward. It's some weird injury that we don't want to have happen. In essence, this game on Monday, it's a magnifying glass of deeper narratives of both squads, each frame telling us a bit more about where we stand with the Giants and with the Seahawks. What we learned with the Giants, they suck. What we learned with the Seahawks, that defense is legit. Monday Night Football record with 11 sacks. This isn't just an impressive feat, it's a manifestation of dominance, particularly from a team where, let's be candid, the defense, especially the pass rush, has been a point of contention in recent seasons. The defensive side of Seattle has been the joke the past couple of years. 4 Seattle defenders nabbing 2 sacks each. It's more than individual excellence. It's a collective evaluation of a defense that is beginning to find a genuinely intimidating stride. Now, allow me to speak briefly about their rookie, Devon Witherspoon, the quarterback, and perhaps the emblem of Seattle's current and future defensive prowess. His performance, not just good, it was transcendent, especially for a rookie. 7 tackles, 2 sacks on Daniel Jones, and a staggering 97-yard pick six that we discussed earlier. That didn't just seal the game, it stamped his name into the conversation of Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is the kind of performances that Seattle Seahawks defensive players are used to. This isn't merely a win in the logbook for the Seahawks, it's an illumination of what their defense and notably their pass rush can be moving forward. If you have a legitimate secondary with players like Quandre Diggs, Devon Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, and then you have a ferocious pass rush that is putting the quarterback into compromising positions, and the cherry on the top, the best cherry on top, is that your middle linebacker is B-Wags, Bobby Wagner. This is the recipe. But unfortunately, it's not all pretty. We got to talk about the offense. Now, while Seattle's offense experienced its ebbs and flows, dealing with the injury to Geno Smith and the loss of both starting guards, their defense notably compensated, holding the Giants to a mere field goal and forcing a turnover, which converted into their initial touchdown and halting a 4th and 1 on their own 27 on New York's opening drive. The defense is carrying the offense way too much. The Seattle Seahawks, the team that's found a semblance of an answer to their backup quarterback conundrum in the shape of Drew Lock. The former Bronco isn't just wearing a jersey and a cap on the sidelines. That 51-yard pass to Noah Fant demonstrates a pocket awareness, an ability to sidestep pressure, and a readiness to light up the field, even with a embarrassing 2 for 6 passing and 63 yards. Drew Lock stepped up, and I'm proud of him. A lot of quarterbacks would have folded in certain situations. He got the Seahawks on the board. Geno Smith is the undeniable QB1, we know that. And Seattle leans heavily into his capabilities, but having Lock as not just a backup, but a legitimate secondary offensive option, it's a layer of assurance, especially given his capacity to launch deep, decisive throws. And can we just have a brief moment to acknowledge the offensive line of the Seattle Seahawks? The spotlight often glosses over these men in the trenches, but this battered, persistently rearranged offensive line has showcased a level of resilience and efficiency that's unmistakably pivotal. 2 sacks allowed against a talent like Kayvon Thibodeau, the ferocious 5th overall pick from 2022, and facilitating a robust 120 yards rushing on 23 carries. This is a unit that's operating with a sink and stoutness that's unshakable. Now, every silver lining has its cloud, and for the Seahawks, it's materializing on 3rd down. 3 for 12, folks. That's a number that doesn't just land. 0 for 2 on 4th down, even with the game's outcome essentially in the bag, brings forth questions about the strategic capability under pressure. This 3rd down efficiency isn't a statistic to ignore. It's a symbol of potential drives, potential points, left languishing on the field. And as the Seahawks move into their bye week, it's important that a formula, that a new scheme is created to help transform those 3rd down opportunities from a metaphorical Achilles heel to a weapon in their offensive arsenal. I love what the Seattle Seahawks are doing. I love what Pete Carroll is creating and establishing in the city. Do you feel it, Seattle Seahawks fans? Do you understand that he is doing everything he can to A, ignore the noise, B, keep the eyes forward on the next game up, and C, Super Bowl championships? And Pete Carroll also wants to remind the world that he was not given Coach of the Year last year. Who had the Seahawks going to the playoffs last year in 2022? Who had the Seahawks in the playoffs in 2022? I'll tell you where I had the Seahawks in 2022. It was them picking in the top 3, in the top 5, without any trades. It was them without any trade picks. Their designated pick was supposed to be in the top 5. And what did they do? What did the Seattle Seahawks do? They said, shut up, Miles. You don't know our culture. You don't know our team. And they messed around and made it to the playoffs. And Pete Carroll did not get his respect. He's going to take his respect this year. Like, comment, subscribe.